All right, gang, I just put this quick movie together to get you oriented to this project and get you going on it. I don't actually, at the time I'm recording this, I don't have all of this posted on Schoology yet, but it will be by the time you're watching this movie. So here's the deal. We've now learned several animation tricks in Adobe Animate. So what I want you to do is put together a little original short animated movie, and this handout will be available on Schoology. And again, by the time you're watching this, it is on Schoology. It's just not right now. But here's the deal. Create a short animated movie. I'm going to zoom up on this some. And here are the requirements. It's got to be at least 15 seconds. Use your timeline in Adobe Animate to help you with that. It's marked off on the timeline, so it has to be at least 15 seconds long. You might make it longer than that, and if you do, that's fine, but it's got to be at least 15 seconds. Don't miss points because you didn't make it long enough. All right, you got to work to make your movie tell a little bit of a story. It doesn't have to be a complicated story. I'm going to show you some ideas in just a minute. I always tell people trying to be like Goldilocks here. Don't make your story too hard to animate. Don't make it too easy. Try to make it someplace in the middle. Try to make it just right, just like Goldilocks. And show a little effort here. I always want that. If you're done with this assignment in 5 minutes, you didn't try. So I don't want a ball bouncing for 15 seconds or a stick figure jumping up and down for 15 seconds. That's not what I'm after. I want something more than that. I got a little series of tips here on the handout, which are kind of up to you. We did an assignment on layers. You could use multiple layers if you feel like you're confident with that and you want to, but you could also do this on one layer. If you're going to include conversations or text, make sure that the words stick around long enough that you can see them, right? We kind of worked on that on the conversation assignment. F6 inserts a keyframe. F7 inserts what's called a blank keyframe. F6 is that kind of animation where it takes what you made in the previous frame and carries it over. And F7 is like if you want a new frame in your movie that's got nothing in it, right? You could do it that way. It's just a matter of what you want. The letter V is the selection arrow, the white arrow, B for brush, Q for free transform, a couple of keyboard shortcuts. We have done assignments about onion skinning, addition and subtraction, copy and paste frames, layers, conversations, creating characters by like combining shapes or subtracting or whatever. So all of that's possible, right? You don't have to do everything there is here, but that's just what we've covered. All right, so the length requirement, the 15 seconds, that's 50 points of this assignment. An effort score of 20, and having some kind of little story that you tell is worth 10 points. So that all adds up to 80. I'm going to switch over to Adobe Animate and show you a couple of examples that I put together that are very simple, right? I guess I should go back to the handout here and show you. I've got, if I didn't scroll it all the way down, I've got a couple of starter ideas. If you're sitting there thinking, I don't know what to do, maybe something that has a superhero in it, or a romance where one character asks another character out on a date, and then what happens? Do they get shut down? Do they go? What happens? An amazing feat. Somebody, I don't know, jumps over Mount Everest. A disaster movie where there's an earthquake, or I don't know. Use your imagination. An alien shows up and eats all the Oreos. I don't know. We make something up, right? Just don't make it so complicated that you can't figure out how to animate it. But those are ideas. You don't have to use those if you don't want to, but I just put those on there. All right. Anyway, back over to Adobe Animate. Here's one of mine, The Red Balloon, A Tale of Joy and Sorrow. I'm going to press enter and run that movie. It's a little more than 15 seconds here. So the character loves his red balloon. He's taking it for a walk. And suddenly, oh dear, string breaks and the balloon flies away. But there is a miraculous reattachment of the string. How did that happen? We don't know. Both the happiest and saddest day of my life. And a little closing credit there at the end, and bingo. Now here's a tip. If you're thinking that you're going to have a hard time filling 15 seconds, do like a title at the beginning. Mom, Phineas and Ferb are making a title sequence. Do a title at the beginning. Make that stay for a little while. That takes part of the 15 seconds, right? And then tell your story in the rest of the time that you have. Here's another example. This one, let me get this fit into the window here. All right, so this one's a little more complicated because if you'll look right down here in the bottom left, it's got layers. All right, there's a layer that has a ladder, the little stick figure, and the water. And most of the animation is the figure, but I had reasons for putting them on different layers. I have 3 layers. The figure is where most of the animation takes place. All right, so let's see what happens. This is the figure climbs up the ladder, which really doesn't look that much like a ladder, but he's to the edge of the platform. Here we go. It's about a gazillion flips into the water. Water splashes up, covers the whole screen, and we get perfect 10. Yay! And this one is just a little bit over 15 seconds long. If you look down at the timeline, it's not quite 16, but it's more than 15. It's 15.8, actually. So there you go. There's a couple of examples. And, sorry I can't be here today to, help along with whatever you run into, but it's a 2-day deal. This is a 2-day project. So try to get started on it today, and if you get really, really, really stuck on what you're doing, save your work, and I'll be back tomorrow to be able to assist you and help you along if you're stuck on something and just can't make it work. All right, there you go, off to work.